Officer Mahone, what do we got here?
Alexander Sinclair. Cause of death, blunt force trauma. Do you remember that ugly painting that was auctioned off this week for a horrendous price?
The one we were making fun of?
Yes, he's the buyer. According to his wife Victoria, it's missing.
Anything else?
Yes, we asked his assistant for the financial records of Alexander.
And?
Seemed like buying this painting put him in serious financial troubles.
Are there any people involved who could be affected by these problems?
His longtime associate Jonathan Blackwood must not have been too happy about it.
Thank you, Officer Mahone. Let's bring in Mr. Blackwood, Mrs. Sinclair, and his assistant, Amelia Drake. Miss Drake, where have you been last night?
I was at my best friend's birthday party at Gino's Pizza Dream.
It must have frustrated you seeing Mr. Sinclair throw out his money on that painting, putting the business in jeopardy. Everything you worked so hard for.
Yes, it was a very big investment. It wasn't a rash decision. Me and Alex have been talking about this a lot. It was the right decision in the long term. His associate didn't agree with us at all.
Are you talking about Jonathan Blackwood?
Yes, lately he didn't agree on much that Alex was doing. Alexander's wife was also a major point of contention. Things weren't looking so good for the company financially, and the fact that Victoria continued to live her extravagant lifestyle to the full led to major friction between the two of them.
Mr. Blackwood, how was your relationship with Alexander?
We've been working together for decades now.
It must have been frustrating to see the business you had built up together over the years go down a steep slope.
That would never have happened without a gold-digger wife and that greedy assistant. Alexander also saw this and wanted at least to separate from his wife.
Mr. Blackwood, what was your job in the company?
I was Alexander's art dealer. I built up many connections to buyers and sellers over the past years. And that Amelia, with her bad influence and her wannabe art knowledge, almost ruined everything.
How so?
She was the one that convinced Alexander to buy that overpriced and overrated painting. He just stopped listening to me, and I had to watch my money go down on this painting and his wife.
Mrs. Sinclair, how was your relationship going with your husband?
We've been married for almost 1 year now. I'm sorry. We were married. I still can't believe that he's gone.
Things weren't going so well financially for Alexander. How did you cope with it?
Well, I actually had no idea what was going on up until his death. He never said a word to me about his financial problems. I wish he would have talked to me.
He never talked about what was going on at work?
Of course, he did talk about his day, but never about his finances.
What was he talking about?
How difficult it was with Jonathan and Amelia, because they didn't get along at all. No wonder. I don't think there is anyone despite my husband that does get along with Jonathan.
How come?
If it doesn't go the way that Jonathan wants, you're on his bad side. I tried to convince Alexander to end his partnership with Jonathan, but Alexander had such a good heart and always saw the good things in people. He couldn't do it.
Do you know on what Amelia and Jonathan didn't agree on?
Amelia's vision lies more in modern art, which in turn is not worthy of art for Jonathan. But Amelia can be very persuasive and got her way more often than Jonathan got his way. In a way, they were both very much alike. Everyone wanted to get their way.
I've heard enough. With all the evidence from the crime scene and the informations from the interrogations, I know exactly who committed the crime.
Could you also find out who committed the crime and why? Write it in the comment section, and please subscribe to not miss the solution.